Hi everybody, I'm Dr. John Douillard. Welcome to LifeSpa.com, and today I want to talk about how to amp up the effectiveness of the herbs that you're taking, or even the foods that you're eating. In Ayurveda, these are called anupans, things that help carry the nutritional blueprint of the herbs and foods you're taking into your body, help them amp up the absorption. These anupans in Western medicine are called bioenhancers, and there's really a lot of science about the benefit of some of these bioenhancers. And there's a lot of really cool ones, simple ones like ginger, for example, has been shown to help the absorption of certain nutrients and carry them into the deep tissues better. There's no better example than turmeric, where turmeric was combined with black pepper back in 2000, back in India. And they did a study, and they found that by amping up, taking black pepper, 1 part turmeric, 16 parts turmeric and 1 part black pepper, amped up the effectiveness of the turmeric by 2,000%, which means that it helped carry the turmeric, the curcumins and the other constituents of the turmeric into this bloodstream by a whopping 2,000%, something that curry naturally did for thousands of years. Now they're beginning to realize that some of these herbs that are harder to digest, that are really medicinal, actually need a little bit of help. So turmeric is one of the classic examples, and then of course that got kind of really the research community very, very excited. So they started taking, well, what if we took the turmeric and took an extract of the turmeric and made curcumin, and then took an extract of the black pepper called bioperines and put those together, we'd have this even super amped up version. And I feel like that's when we get a little bit out of hand. We start to try to outsmart Mother Nature, and we then lose a lot of the constituents that naturally occur in turmeric. An example, like there's 300 constituents in turmeric, and there's a whole bunch of them in black pepper. If you just take one of them, now you're becoming very isolated. You're giving your body something nature really never put together on its own. And so we really want to, I think for the most part, when you're doing foods and herbs you're going to take for long term, you really want to be as close to mimicking nature as possible, which I think is really important. The other kind of natural bioenhancer is something we don't really think about as a bioenhancer, which are microbes. The microbes in the soil change from one season to the next, and they support the benefit of the plant. Studies are now emerging that show that one study with ginseng showed that the bugs that are attached to the ginseng root have also the same properties of the ginseng root. And when you put the two together, which you naturally get when you pull it out of the ground and eat it, you're going to get all this amazing benefit of the plant because of, in part, the synergy between the plant and its biochemistry and its microbiology. And they all work together. That's the whole idea of seasonal eating, which my 3-Season Diet book was about, which our 3-Season Diet Eating Guide is all about, which is free. You get recipes with every season and grocery lists with every season for free at LifeSpa.com. You can download it. Really important. Why? Because you're getting the right bugs in the right season to give you kind of immunity benefits in the winter, which have been proven, decongest you in the spring, which is kapha season, help you dissipate heat in the summer, which is pitta season. This natural changing of the bugs in your gut support the need for that season, which is now well documented in the science, which is pretty cool, right? But the bugs also provide this synergy. And there's a really great example that we had a batch of turmeric that came in, and we tested, of course, all our herbs at LifeSpa when we first get them. So we got a batch of turmeric and a batch of black pepper, because our formula Turmeric Plus is 16 parts turmeric, 1 part black pepper. And we tested them, and the bugs were all good, and there was no heavy metals, and all that was all clean. Then we put them together, and after we make a formula, we put it together, we have to retest everything again. And what happened when we put the two formulas together is the bugs began to explode. And then I got a call from my guy, and he said, you know what, these bugs have just exploded. These two bugs, it's like they got married, they had babies, and they just started amplifying. And he goes, but what's crazy was they were all really good, beneficial bugs. And this is a beautiful thing about Ayurveda. When you put these herbs together in just the right way, you get an amped up sort of probiotic kind of benefit, because whole herbs, the foods that you eat every day that are organic, they have natural bacteria in them. So when you start looking at eating the right food and the right turmeric is a fall harvested, spring harvested root, so you can get the benefits of those that are seasonally appropriate for you in the spring and the fall, which is really cool. Part of your spring and fall detox, which is why it's in our Colorado Cleanse. But the real neat thing is that when you put those two together, we saw this massive amping up of the benefits of the healthy bacteria. So it's kind of a neat understanding. I think Ayurveda knew about bugs. They called them krimi thousands of years ago. I don't know that they knew that these bugs were having babies and making this amped up sort of super probiotic slash, herbal product together. But that's what the science is beginning to show, which is kind of really cool. So there are many, many ways to kind of amp up the benefits of your herbs. Using ginger is one way. Another way is ghee, or oil for that matter. Oil is a natural carrier. Like, one of the big things you probably all heard about is like doing like bulletproof coffee, putting some type of oil, either olive oil or ghee or medium chain fatty acid in it. It actually slows down the delivery of the caffeine, but it extends it over a longer period of time. So that's what the oils do. They slow down digestion and deliver that nutrition, whatever you're trying to deliver, over a longer period of time. So whenever you have ghee or fats, you get a level of satiety that lasts and a level of delivery of nutrition that lasts over a longer period of time. Where if it's just sugar, boom, it all goes in and then it crashes you and leaves you wanting, right? So that's where the ghee can come in. And studies have shown that ghee in particular is a very powerful bioenhancer. Ginger is a bioenhancer. Black pepper is a bioenhancer. There's an herbal formula we have called Warm Digest, which is ginger, long pepper, and black pepper together. A classic Ayurvedic formula for strengthening your digestive fire. But also, not only does it turn on your digestive fire, but it also takes the foods that you eat and helps them deliver, because those are all natural, what we call anopans or bioenhancers. So many examples of that, like in Ayurveda. If you go to the health food store and you look at an herb for your joints, for example, and you look for something that has boswellia in it, which is a classic Ayurvedic herb for the joints. And they'll take boswellia, glucosamine, MSM, chondroitin, put it all together, give you a formula, because that's all the good stuff for the joints, and you get it all in a pill. Well, a lot of those, like the boswellia, is a resin, really hard to digest, much like turmeric and others that are really hard to digest. So unless you put it together with something that helps bioenhance it and deliver it, you're probably not going to get much benefit out of that, which is why in Ayurveda, the boswellia has been always classically formulated with ginger, right, with ashwagandha and turmeric, and with a little bit of black pepper. So that's how we formulate that formula to amp up the bioavailability of boswellia. And now the science shows that that's actually how the best way to deliver it. When you add those together, you get much more beneficial effect for the joints. The last thing I'll talk about is something called herbal intelligence, where these herbs are intelligent. They can work kind of in a homeostatic way. A great example of that is ashwagandha. Ashwagandha is an herb that, if your cortisol levels are low, it'll increase your cortisol levels. If your cortisol levels are too high and you can't sleep, it'll decrease your cortisol levels, which is why you can take ashwagandha before you go to bed and sleep like a baby. Its botanical name, Withania somnifera, means to help put you to sleep. It was named after that. But that same herb, is one that can give you the strength of 10 horses, or give you energy to go run a marathon, and give you endurance and stamina and resiliency and boost immunity and all of these things. So on one hand, this herb can help you run a marathon in the morning and put you to sleep at night. It's not a stimulant, it's not a sedative, it's deep, deep rejuvenation, but it also has herbal intelligence. And one of the bioenhancers for ashwagandha is ginger. We formulate that with a little bit of ginger because ashwagandha is a warm, heavy, sweet root, very much like turmeric, kind of on the heavier side. And therefore, you take something light like ginger to help drive it and deliver it, and you get massive benefits without having to create an extract, which is taking just one of the withataloids out of the ashwagandha and giving you a concentrate of that, give you the whole plant, but add it to something like the ginger, which works for a lot of foods, by the way, just to give you that better micronutrient benefit that we're all looking for from our food or our plants or our herbs. Kind of a really cool way to know. And that's the beauty of Ayurveda. It's time-tested, thousands and thousands of years old. They figured out along the way what works, what doesn't work, and that's been passed on in Ayurveda. And that's why I think it's so important for us to always be tying modern science to the ancient wisdom, because the ancient wisdom is real, it's time tested, there's value there. We add the science to it, I think you're looking at something that's at the very least worth looking at. And that's exactly what we do here at LifeSpa.com, is we try to do our very best to prove modern ancient science with modern, or ancient wisdom with modern science. All right, guys, thanks for listening. I'm Dr. John. See you next week.